Welcome back to the pick segment of SprintCarUnlimited.com podcast presented by Moose's LZ Bar and Grill in Jonestown, PA. Great food at a great price. And it's the picks. And it was kind of a weird week for us in that I won most head-to-head by one. I had more wins. I think I picked up a top 10. But you had me on plus minus. Bill Baylog, not good for me.
No, and that was surprising because he's always good up there. So
yeah, just
misfortune.
Didn't work out.
Wow, you're lucky. You're lucky. I didn't get a win with Sanders when I should have.
Yeah, I caught a break there.
Yeah,
I caught a break. So, obviously, for the people watching on YouTube, this is how we do it. You can pick one guy per week. You can't pick him like you can't just pick David Gravel every night. You only pick him one time a week, and we snake it. I'm down on plus minus, as you can see. So I go first, and then Ryan picks the next two. Then I pick the next two, and we so on and so forth. We have wins, first place finishes, top fives, top tens, head-to-head who finishes higher, and plus minus who finishes higher. So bunch of categories, and we're going to jump in, and it's High Limited Eagle Raceway, and I am taking Corey Day.
Thank you.
You can have Kyle Larson.
I'm going to go with Kyle Larson.
All right, fair enough. Corey Day is a beast there.
Oh, I know he's good there, but he hasn't run a sprint car for about 4 weeks now. So
I don't care.
Taking my chances. Larson is just cranking right now.
I don't think it matters. Shelby County on Thursday before they take a little bit of a break, send their guys to Knoxville. Ryan, who do you got at Shelby County?
Oh,
is Larson running that one as well?
I have no idea. Close to the weekend, I don't know. I'm going with I'll go with Aaron Reitzel.
Going with Reitzel. I don't know if Larson's running, but I'm taking him. And then as a backup, Brent Marks. So if Larson doesn't run, I got Marks.
I'm on it.
Now we got the World of Outlaws and Knoxville. And this is where a lot of plus minus comes into play because it's easy to finish 16th there. When you
with the quality of field we're going to have?
With the quality of field, we've seen this before. I've had Carson Macedo. There's years I've had Carson Macedo in that field, and he finished 16th. So I get first pick on Friday. Now, Eagle, David Gravel, Buddy Kofoid, and Carson Macedo will all be in attendance. However, I'm taking David Gravel the first night at Knoxville. Let's stop the nonsense now.
Yeah.
He gets. They're good there.
They are. Well, I'm gonna have to combat that with Rico.
Ooh. Okay. And then
I'll take me some David Gravel the second night.
David Gravel the second night.
Yeah.
Well, that leaves me a couple options. I'm going to take Ryan Timms the second night.
Good pick. It was a pick that I was thinking about for the first night too.
Well, Reitzel obviously winning there the last time the Outlaws were there, but Timms is slightly warm at Knoxville.
Indeed, he is.
Now it gets dicey because we have NARC. It's the fastest 5 days in motorsports. We're going to pick 4 of them. The last one's next Monday, and I hope to have the show done by next Sunday for next week because I will be heading to High Bank Nationals. So Southern Oregon Speedway, I believe, is right out of the gate, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it Douglas County?
No, Southern Oregon Speedway.
Southern Oregon.
Yep.
We got to spread them around. You got to know your NARC drivers. Give me James McFadden. right out of the gate.
First night. I like that pick. First night. I'm glad you used him up.
That's fine.
Yep. Um, let me go Sanders.
I'm glad you used him up that first night too.
Yep.
Who do you got?
Then
Cottage. I think we go to
Douglas County.
Douglas County's next.
We're going McFadden.
So you're going night 2
Yep.
with him. Well, I'm going Sanders because I think he does well there. And then we get Cottage Grove. And then it becomes who shows up.
Yes.
I don't know if Shane Golobick's going to go up that swing during the week.
Yeah. No, I don't know that he has gone up there.
Yeah, I don't. I think that's dicey. I'm going to take Dom.
Okay.
Who you got at Cottage Grove?
I'm gonna have to go with Trey Starks.
Will he show up at Cottage Grove?
I don't know. I hope so because I picked him. I don't know who else to pick.
Well,
And then I'm gonna go Dom at Willamette.
okay. So now I got Willamette.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Wonder if Chance Grasty goes. He has to go to that. Because the problem with NARC, one of the problems with NARC is they don't have a lot. I wonder how many guys go up there. I think they go to Super Dirt Cup. That I think they do. But
Yeah.
I just don't know if they're going to
You're
go
gonna have to
during.
go 2 weeks in a row, basically.
Yeah, that's where
Yeah.
I'm a little flighty on it.
Mm-hmm.
And does Brad just show up? I doubt it. I assume he'll go to Knoxville. Assuming. Willamette. I just don't know if Starks will go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm taking a chance.
I just don't know who will go. Give me. God, this is hard.
Yeah.
And we lost like a Schlotfeld. We lost him. I wonder if Levi Hillier comes down or.
Well, that was a guy that I was wondering if he would be there. I mean, that'd be 4 nights of racing to get him out. You know what I mean? Like get him out.
I'm going to take Levi Hillier.
A good pick.
And then if we'll be in touch if they don't go. That's going to be the question. Do they go?
Yeah. The good thing is they're on the West Coast, Jeremy. You can wake me up at 10 o'clock and say, "Hey, your pick wasn't there. Pick again."
I think we'll know before that.
Okay.
We'll know before that. So,
all right.
Disclosure on the NARC stuff. These races, we're kind of guessing on a couple of them. I think we each have one. I don't know if Starks is going to go to Cottage Grove, and I don't know if Hillier will be at Willamette. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's
Ohio
early. We'll
Speed Week. Ohio Speed Week. We're picking 4 of them right off the bat: Attica, Sharon, Millstream, and Wayne County. And Attica's where we both think they're going to get rained out.
Just because they get rained out.
Because that's what happens.
Yeah, just because it's what does.
So I don't want to burn a guy. This is where I don't want to burn a guy off. I don't like how this one's setting up. Give me Cale Thomas. At Attica. Now you have Attica.
Yes, I do. They've raced so little out there this year.
Well, there's an
Just like,
obvious pick there, but it's whether you want to burn them.
yeah, I don't know if I want to burn them. We're both picking the same guy.
Well, that's why I didn't burn them.
I don't know if I want to burn them. It's Speed Week. They're going to try to get it. Give me Cap Henry.
Okay. Not a bad pick.
Give me Dietrich. Give me Dietrich at Sharon.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, well, you can still pick Dale Blaney. So
I can.
Yeah,
but
you will.
Dietrich's good at Sharon.
Yeah,
I was hoping you'd overlook. I just thought I was hoping you'd want to.
I'd overlook that, huh?
Oh, no.
Okay. Thank you.
No. Give me. Yeah, give me Dale Blaney.
Yeah, I don't know how you can't take him because you got to. I mean, you don't want to burn one. He ain't going to race any of the other ones.
No, I know. Millstream is next.
Yeah.
They don't run there that often.
No, they do not run there very often. You're exactly right.
I think it's everybody equal. I'm going to take our boy Danny Dietrich.
Okay. I will take. Give me the 49X.
Thomas.
Cale Thomas. And I'm coming back with Caleb Henry at Wayne County.
Come on.
101. 101, Jeremy. 101.
I wanted him there.
Well, I'm sorry.
This set up poorly for me. I got jobbed.
Sorry.
I got jobbed.
I don't make the rules. I just try to play by them.
I know. This sucks.
Yeah.
I really wanted Caleb Henry there. Has Wayne County raced this year?
Huh. I don't know, but you probably didn't see it anyways. It was too dusty.
Okay. Come on.
I'm just saying.
Come on now.
It races great if you can see the race.
I got to take Cap Henry.
I was gonna say I'm just hoping that you forget about it and go.
No,
what is his hesitation?
No, I just didn't want him there. I should have taken him at Millstream, and then I should have came back and taken Dietrich at Wayne County. I blew this one.
Well, you probably get lucky anyways.
I blew it. So I don't.
You'll probably get lucky anyways.
Yeah, it happens so often.
Yeah.
So that's going to wrap up this edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com podcast presented by Moose's LZ Bar and Grill in Jonestown, PA. Great food at a great price. Stay tuned to SprintCarUnlimited.com for all your sprint car needs. We also have the YouTube channel. You like the content, please subscribe. And we'll be back next week with another show. Stay tuned. Welcome to another edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com live show. I appreciate everybody joining us on Wednesday. I know it's a day later than normal. I couldn't have done it yesterday, even if I wanted to. My eye was horrible. Turns out I have some kind of staph infection, but they gave me these high-powered steroids, and it's actually looking 10 times better than it did yesterday. Plus, Eagle Nationals were going on last night. I wasn't about to go up against that. So we're here. And let's start firing away with questions from the chat and phone calls. I can't believe they do not do something about the rut at Eagle. Someone is going to get hurt there. What are your thoughts? I mean, look, you always want it to be smooth and everything to be manicured, I guess, but that doesn't happen. I don't know structurally what is going on there. We know there was a problem at Eldora last year, and that was something with the track. I think it was a drain pipe or something was going on, but they were able to take care of that. And there was some, tracks have their little nuances where they have something going on underneath the surface or whatever, and they have to do stuff. I don't know what the makeup is of Eagle. Is somebody going to get hurt? I mean, I can think of a lot of other worse places. I think the California guys seem to shine on that stuff. I mean, look at the guys who've won there. Buddy won that race 2 years ago. Rico won last night. So I'm sure they work on it. I don't think anybody wants a rut there. Again, it's hard for me to say because I don't know what they have going on under the racing surface, or if there's some kind of structural thing there that they need to drain the surface when it rains. So it's hard for me to say, but look, I'm sure they don't want to rut there. I don't think they put it there. Sometimes you just can't get it out. The Williams Grove had that for a long time entering turn one. I can think of a lot of tracks that have a nuance like that. So yeah, it's really hard to say, but hopefully they work it out and nobody does get hurt. Last night, the talk of social media was Rico's wheel spin not making a full rotation and therefore should be considered illegal. I looked through High Limits rulebook and could not find that specific rule, even though Tony Laporta mentioned it on the broadcast. What is the rule? It's gotta go around a whole turn. And he should have made him spin again. He didn't. This has happened multiple times through the year, by the way. This isn't a first. I've noticed that other times where it didn't go all the way around. High Limit does. They just got to be a little more thorough with that because, again, and I talk about this a lot, it's not so much that I think Rico got some huge advantage. It just so happened to land on the number it landed on. I don't think he planned it. In fact, if you watch it, he just kind of walked by, and I don't think he caught it enough. And it's the first time it hasn't gone around a full rotation for Rico. So I've seen this other times this year. The reason they need to be a little more thorough with it is because people bring it up, and racing people are conspiracy theorists. I find that out more and more every year. So it's just got to be more thorough. That's all. Will on line one. Will, how are you?
I'm doing great. Sorry about your eye.
That's all right. Thank you.
Well, the NARC show at Chico went pretty well. Chance Grasty, he's starting to show that he's got some skill, but when he gets to traffic, then his inexperience comes out. And to me, for some reason, watching the race, Tim Kading on a restart, it's like he loses like 3 spots every time on a restart. I don't know what he's doing or why. I don't know.
I don't know either. The big takeaway from that race for me was that Billy Ayton stopped another Sanders romp.
Well, that is true, but we do need those Billy Aytons. If we don't have them, then we're going to have 10 cars out there.
No, I understand that. I get that. I'm not saying, but it was the big takeaway for me. And you know what? Grasty probably should have won at Santa Maria, if not for the front wing collapsing. I think he wins Santa Maria. I don't think Dom gets him, and he already has that first win. So they gave him one back after taking one away, so to speak, at Santa Maria. I think Chance has looked really good this year. I'm anxious to see how he does kind of on this trek up to Skagit. I assume he'll be running those races in the fastest 5 days of motorsports. And we're going to get James McFadden and, of course, Sanders and some other guys. So I'm anxious to kind of see how this plays out. But, yeah, I mean, Chance looked really good, and I don't think it's going to be his only win this year. I expect Tim Kading to win one here. He's been more consistent than anybody other than Sanders and Brad Sweet, of course. And so I think those three, Chance, obviously Tim Kading, and Sanders, and when Brad shows up, I think those are going to be the guys.
Yeah. Does it look to you like Dominic is in slow motion? I don't know. To me, it looks like he's just riding out there. He's not really competitive right now.
Yeah, they're just not fast. You're not timing well. You're not putting yourself in position. It's no different than what we saw last night at Eagle with Kyle Larson. Kyle Larson lost the pill draw. He went out last in the first flight, which is the worst place you could go out. Everybody knows that. And he was playing from behind the rest of the night. I think Dom hasn't exactly put himself in good spots as far as with timing. Hasn't timed well. Doesn't have speed at the beginning of the night. And it's tough to show speed at the end of the night. Needs to get quicker. I do think he does a little better up through Oregon and up to Skagit. So I at least I hope so. One night I picked him. But yeah, he doesn't have a lot of speed right now. And again, I think he won Santa Maria because Chance had the front wing collapse.
I agree on all points. But at the same time, Grasty, when he gets close to lap traffic and Sanders caught him and then one or two laps and he was past him, he's learning, and I really like what I see out of him, and I can't wait to see some more out of him.
Yeah, I think he's made the biggest leap from last year to this year. I think he's starting to get
Absolutely.
it. Yep. I agree with you, Will. I'm anxious to see how this keeps going. And if he can, I want to see him beat Sanders. I want to see him, it's very tough. Nobody's really, other than Brad Sweet, has been able to dent the Justin Sanders train out there, other than obviously what happened last week with a lap car. So I want to see if Chance can kind of pick up more speed and actually run with Sanders lap after lap. As of now, not happening, but we'll see if he continues to improve.
Yeah, I really hope that he does that 5 fastest days race.
Yeah, I think he will.
Get out of California.
I think he will.
Because they've done pretty well. They haven't torn up a bunch of stuff, so they should have some reserves.
Yes, and if he's going to run for NARC points, then yes, he has to.
Right. Let's see, what else? Well, there wasn't really much, except the girls are having a hard time in NARC, man. They're getting tore up, crashed out.
Yeah.
But they keep, I like them, because they keep coming back.
No,
That's all I got for this week.
All right, well, yeah, Sanders definitely Sanders passed Grassi on a restart. Wasn't in lap traffic. He was
okay.
Yeah, he was.
But Grassi said it himself. He lucked into that, and a win's a win.
Yeah,
it'll make him more confident, and he'll start going for those holes that aren't there yet.
No, hopefully he continues to improve. Will, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
See you next week.
Yep. Will, the first call tonight. It was a pleasure meeting you in the infield at BAP Sunday night. Thank you very much. Likewise, it's always good to be able to put a face to the voice or the question, I should say, if somebody calls in and whatnot. It just makes it more personable. Stands look packed at BAPS for the $5 night. Should other tracks consider lowering admission for weekly and big shows with what we saw at BAPS? The BAPS crowd was good. It was not packed. I have pictures of it. I was actually thought there'd be more. $5. We're hearing a lot about pricing. We're hearing a lot about cost, obviously, for the PA Series races. Port Royal's regular admission price is still only $20. I think that gets overlooked a lot. Lincoln's is $25. The Grove is in that $20 to $25 range. And, of course, I think the main complaint is the Series, which is $30 for the same guys you're seeing for $20 and $25. I think that's the main problem. Should tracks lower their admission price? I think for some shows, yes. What I would like to see, and I said it on a 90 at 9 last week, I'd like to see a track go with $15 just to see what would happen. Not every week, and you can't do it for sanctioned shows. Sanctioned shows, you have sanctioned fees, you have higher purses, you have, all kinds of bells and whistles to it, more advertising, more employees. Normally, your expenses are higher. All in for a regular World of Outlaws event, if you add everything together, is roughly $100,000. Now, if you're a JV show, which is a joint venture, you split the take at the end of the night, but you're still paying the full sanction fee. That's not counted in there. So I understand why sanction shows you can't do that. And joint ventures, you don't set the price the World of Outlaws do. So like at Williams Grove, they set the price because theirs is a straight sanction. They pay the World of Outlaws. World of Outlaws come in. That's it. Everything's on the Grove. So I would like to see more deals. Like here's a case in point. Why didn't any track in this area call BAPS and go, hey, can we get in on this? How about if you bring your ticket from BAPS to Port Royal or Lincoln this week, you get $5 off? It seems like a no-brainer, pretty easy to me. I just don't think these tracks think of it. I'll be honest. I just don't think they are in touch with their customers. I think they roll it out there and like newspapers and bowling centers. When it rains, we just open the door. We don't really do a lot of promoting or doing a lot of kind of intricate ways of drawing fans or promotional things that are used to draw fans. So if I would have been a promoter in the area who runs this week, I would have said, if you bring your BAPS ticket to Williams Grove, Lincoln, or Port Royal, you get $5 off. They had a good crowd. Again, could it have been bigger? Sure. I thought there were pockets and stuff, but it was still a really good crowd. The race was run very well. The feature was over about 9:15, which is perfect. There were people there who you never see or that I never see at a dirt track. So that checks a box. They should do it again next year. Absolutely. Same race. And that's a race. The June race is always not Speed Week, but the beginning of June is a race that BAPS always struggled to make money. They made money last week. It was a win. I just think other tracks need to take advantage of that and maybe look at ways to promote their product and have some promotions to get people through the gate. We'll see if they do that. Hit the like button, everyone. Let's see a like record tonight. That would be great. It's always dicey when you move the show to Monday or Wednesday, but I wasn't going to go up against the Eagle Nationals. And like I said, I couldn't have done it anyway last night. I was watching the hockey game, and they just look like red and gold blurs. I never even saw the puck. So, but no, I appreciate it. If other tracks lower ticket prices and more people show up at the track, how does that affect streaming providers? It's a good question. I think the goal should be to get new people in the stands. I think that should be goal number one. We have a very old crowd in sprint car racing or dirt track racing in general. I think the object should be to bring in new fans. And you're not going to do it. It's going to be more difficult to do at the current pricing just because they're going to go do what they feel comfortable with. If they like hockey, they're going to go to hockey games. If they like football, they're going to go to football games. They like the Senators, which is the minor league baseball team in Central PA, they're going to go there. They're going to do what they're comfortable with. You got to lure them through the gate. Maybe, hey, $5 off, I'm going to try it. It's cheap. If I don't like it, I only lost $5. So I think that's the direction they need to go. As far as how it affects streaming, that's tough to say. I have to wonder, have we trained the older crowd, and by that I mean 50, 55 and older, to watch streaming? And does that affect the grandstands, obviously everywhere, for these weekly shows? I still think people, the big shows, the sanctioned shows, the Outlaws High Limit, Tuscarora 50, National Open, all that stuff, the Kings Royal, those are always going to draw. It's the weekly show that I'm concerned about. And I have to wonder if streaming has taught the older generation or the older crowd an easier way to get their racing fix. I see it online a lot. So that's the question. Free grandstand admission this Friday at Tri-City Raceway for the 410 sprint cars and Rush wingless sprints. That's good, especially since their car count's been lousy lately. My only concern with this whole Tri-City Lernerville thing, and I don't know if it's working. The car counts, I just don't know if there's enough guys out there to do that. And looking over the car counts, there isn't. So that my bigger concern is if they get 13 cars, you're letting people in free to watch 13 cars. That's not good. So that's a concern. Shout out to the racing community for the turnout at Kutztown Safety and Health meeting. Meeting was postponed because the overwhelming support. Kutztown found out how important Action Track is. Yeah, I know somebody who went to that meeting, and I don't think the township was prepared at all. Really, I don't think anybody was prepared at all for how many people were going to come out, and it just seemed disorganized. And this isn't the first time. This isn't the first time that they've come after Kutztown. It's like the third, I guess, this group or these people who aren't happy with the racetrack. I think there could be ramifications this time around, and I don't mean for Kutztown. I mean for the people who came after him. I think at some point there's a defamation suit. He's throwing around a lot of information. I don't know if that group that doesn't like the Speedway can back up. So we'll see how this thing turns out. I think Kutztown will be fine. If the college wants to shut it down, it'll get shut down. If the college doesn't do it, nobody will. Do we know anything about the 1X car that Scott Boguski showed up in last night? I do not, unfortunately. I did not. I tuned in later because I was at the eye doctor. And I was with my daughter. My daughter's actually sitting over on the couch playing some weird game. What are you playing? I know you're playing a game. What's the game? Oh, boy. You ask a question, you get no answer. So, yeah, I didn't tune in. So I did not really get a good look at it. So if anybody in the chat can help out, I appreciate it. Great crowd at Sealands Grove Thursday night. Do you know if that was one-time thing or if they were testing the water for future Thursday races? I'll go back. I have no idea. I think they're kind of a little all over the place. I don't think, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I just think that they didn't want to run Friday against the Grove, which is smart. And Sunday, obviously, Babs had a $5 race. They kind of have to fit in races where they can. I mean, they are late to the party because they're the fifth track. So they kind of got to take what they can get. They kind of got to make those dates work. I did hear Thursday's crowd was good, especially for a Thursday. So good deal. Glad to see they had a good night. Now, whether they come back with that, I think they're more apt to do that if they had a good crowd. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see more Thursday shows in the future. One X Cars OCHS Racing. Been racing with Bryant Wiedemann, okay, in 360s. Jake Buback has run it with a 410 in years past. Thank you very much, Chase. Always appreciate you being in the chat. Again, I didn't see it, and because I admittedly divided between hockey and racing and other things that I was trying to watch, meaning the inside of my eyelids. Pat on line 2. Pat, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Better than I was yesterday. A lot better.
Well, good. We're happy to hear that. Hey, I think our streaming's gotten too good, and I think it's too cheap. I really,
yes.
As much I would pay extra to watch. If I tune in and watch, I'm just going to say Port Royal. I think I should have to pay a couple extra bucks to watch it.
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Whatever. And they do a fantastic job. Both services are just awesome. But I don't know. I want to be at the racetrack. That's my deal. But I'm afraid we got too many people that, let's face it, we have an older generation that I agree that are saying, you know what, I'll just stay home tonight and watch it.
Well, I think it's easier. I mean, look, let's not pretend. I would rather be at the racetrack as well. But I think you probably consider yourself a diehard. It sounds like as me, it's my job.
Yep.
And I've been going forever. But not everybody's a diehard. And when it's 90 degrees out, or when there's a 50% chance of rain, don't tell me people don't stay away. They do. They're going to take the easier way out. It's human nature. It's human nature to do the easy thing, which is sit on your couch, and for $175 or whatever Flo's charge now, it's under $200. You can watch how many races in a year? It's ridiculous how, it's the steal of the century. And if you're getting Dirt Vision and you can watch, say, 70 Outlaw shows at, what is it, $3.99 now for the whole package?
I believe so. Yeah.
$5 for an outlaw race. Just throwing math up there.
Yep.
four and change. Why wouldn't you do it? It's the easy path. And I agree with you. I do think it should be more expensive. I think it's a steal. And we can talk about exposure, and it can't be measured. We use terms that can't be measured. Exposure can't be measured. I can't pay my rent this month with exposure dollars. They won't take them. So we drop these words. We use these words that are unmeasurable to make a point, and it's not a good point if you can't measure it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think as a hardcore fan, I love the on track. I love being there at the track. I love the smells, the sounds, BSing with the people, and
yep.
So, I'm going to go try to support it no matter what.
Yeah.
But yeah, I boy, looking at the crowd like last week at was it was it Williams Grove or whatever? You know what they showed on TV? I was like, going, dang, there's not a lot of people there, man.
Right.
This, and it just showing what the TV was showing. I was like, yeah, God, I was hoping to see a lot more people there, and I don't. That's what scares me the most is I never thought. I guess my belief is I never thought that they would get so good at showing races like they are. So, maybe it's hurt a little bit, because of that. So
I do think Flo does a great job, and Dirt Vision does, and it's not their fault. They own businesses. Their job is to make as much money as possible. Their job isn't to, so they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they both pay the tracks. Now, you can argue whether it's what they should or shouldn't. I mean, I can't set that mark. That the track has to worry about that, and that's not Flo's job to set that, and it's not Dirt Vision's job to set that. You make business deals, and that's it. But I agree. I do think to say that, and by the way, I do think streaming is great for national tour racing. I think it's fantastic for it because high limit, you can watch a high limit race anytime. You can watch a World of Outlaws event anytime. I think that's great. And you can watch it in the stands, when you're at the races. So I think streaming's great for national tour racing. And I don't think it affects crowds at national tour racing as much because it's an event. It's something you don't see every week. Even here, you see high limit, it's, 14, 15 times. We had 3 of them rained out. You're not getting it every week. So there's a little bit of a hunger for it.
Yep.
You don't have that with weekly shows. We see Danny Dietrich, Chase Dietz, Troy Wagami. We see him every week. So I see where your point is, and I do think it's too cheap, but that's their price point, and they're making money, or they wouldn't do it.
Yep. So another question. I think that 1X car, I think that's the Oaks Brothers car out of Dodge City.
Oaks.
I think like Don Droud drove it.
Yep.
For a little while. I mean, they've had a lot of good drivers and really good guys. Those guys are awesome. Got a chance to talk to a couple of them a couple of years ago, but really good guys. But on another note, I just want to say the racing, I think this year in both series is just, and even, the local shows like at Knoxville and stuff, my God, we've been awesome. Been some really fantastic racing. I'm just super excited for what we're seeing right now. And like last night was just Rico was definitely the class of the field, it seemed like, but man, watching Corey come from the back and watching all this stuff happen, wow, what a show. And it makes you just get more excited for the next big one where, a lot of the hot dogs are going to be there all together, and I think it's great. I think we're very fortunate right now.
Well, yeah, think about the next couple of weeks. You have a show tomorrow. You're going to have NARC on, and then you're going to have High Limit from Shelby County. Friday, obviously, Friday, Saturday, Knoxville, Huset's for Sunday. And by the way, the fastest 5 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for NARC. And then you go right into Super Dirt Cup and High Bank Nationals next week. There's a lot of racing, going on right now. You have Ohio Speed Week. I think for the next, starting tomorrow, you can go, God, it was 15 straight days or something like that with a race. And then you have Pennsylvania Speed Week coming up, which awesome. Is 10 days, or it's 10 races in 10 nights starting, 26th? So I just think it's
great.
Yeah, it's good right now. It's good.
Yep. And I hope to God we can get a show on at Huset's this Sunday night, man. We've been getting rained out a lot, so let's hope we see some dry weather for once. So.
Well, I'm coming out to Huset's next week, and I'm just hoping that I see good weather for the High Bank Nationals.
Yep. We could go without the rain a little bit, but Yeah, it's just been unfortunate, been rained out. But hey, we as a farmer, we can't cuss out the rain, so it's all good. It's all good.
Well, there you go.
All right, take care, Jeremy, and thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Pat. I appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
All right. What else do we got? Cameron Smith and the Shark Racing 1A seem like a great combination. I think he's on the brink of breaking out big time. You know, the funny thing is I heard a lot of people saying how bad of a move this was for Cameron Smith. And for me, I looked at it as a wait and see because everybody said the same thing about Ashton Torgerson, and it wasn't a bad move for him. And ironically, he went out of the gate at BAPS, and Cameron Smith's about 3 races in, I guess, 3 or 4. He's wins at BAPS. Again, I think it's a good pairing. I think running on the road for Jacob Allen probably isn't great right now because financially it's a huge undertaking. But right now, running here local costs less. It makes sense. They're going to go out to the King's Royal. I do know that, which should be interesting. And they're just going to catch a couple big shows outside of the area, which I think's smart. So I think they're going to do fine. I think he's going to win another couple races this year, and it'll be a good pairing. Why does it look from the couch that Dom Selzy is just riding in the NARC races? I just don't think he has speed. I don't think Dom's riding around not trying. I just think that he doesn't have speed right now. He's not fast right now. And I think there's a lot of guys like that. I was talking to someone today, and I said, everybody's streaky. You know, Sheldon Hodenschild's in a good streak right now. But then other times he's not. David Gravel not in a good streak right now. Buddy Kofoid had a good streak, and now he can't qualify. I think Buddy's last 3 qualifying efforts were 9th or worst, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I know he hasn't been timing well. Now, he races great. How about Chase Dietz's streak? It just seems like it's a game of streaks right now, and Dom's on a bad one. But we'll see if he can break out of it this week. Hang on a second. I'm answering Eric. All right. Sorry about that. Is any high limit, high rollers other than possibly Book Motorsports and Brent Marks from high limit coming to Lincoln for the Steve Smith tribute race and run some PA Speed Week races? I think we could see some. I think there's a combination that could happen. I got a call this week from a local car owner who wanted to put a high limit guy in it for that race. So, yeah, I think we're going to see more. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Corey Day. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kyle Larson. I think we could see Carson Macedo. I think there's definitely a number of guys from high limit who we could see. I don't think we'll see Rico. Aaron Reitzel, don't know. But they're out in Montana, too. That's a haul. High limit. When is high limit out in Montana? That's a haul to get back here. I don't know if they can make it back in time. I think that's something, but they can fly in. And the one high limit guy I heard about would have to fly in. But getting your own stuff back here, that's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to make that race. Jeremy, Kyle Larson won 3 in a row, was ahead by 8 seconds, and almost lapped the whole field. Well, he didn't almost lap the whole field. He got into the top 10. Then flies off to his real job. Is that good for sprint car racing? I don't think it's bad. I don't think people care. I think, how did he do last night? It's not like he walks in and automatically wins. I think he had a really good 3-race stretch. The third night, he only won by 1.5 seconds. Brent Marks was actually decent. Yeah, he had a good 3-race run. Do I think it hurts him? No, I don't. He can't win at his real job right now in NASCAR. He's struggled a little bit. But now I don't think it bothers anybody at this point, or I don't think it's hurting any crowds or, when did he lap up to third place? He didn't lap up to third place. He didn't lap into the top 5. Wasn't up to third place. It was like to 7th. It wasn't the third. That's a lie. So no, I don't think it kills him. No, I don't think it's a big deal. Pete on line 4. Pete, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. Not too bad.
Well, it pains me to say it, but I don't know if Bratzel's going to make the comeback here after last night.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty big hole to be behind Rico. I think anyone else, maybe not a big deal, but Rico's kind of turning it on here. You've talked about it. Summer months, things get slick and dry, and he has looked really good. And I think that's a lot of positions to make up on somebody as good as Rico.
Yeah, it is. And it's 39 points. Look, Reitzel's going to win races. And Rico's streaky. Rico's always been streaky. I was talking to somebody on the phone today, and we were talking about that. How, what was it? Was it last year or the year before? He was terrible at the Gold Cup and then was great at Skagit Nationals. So, and Aaron's going...
That was, last year.
What's that?
I think that was last year.
Yeah.
It would have been the year before.
Yeah, I mean, Rico's going to have his moments. The thing that bothers me about Reitzel is last night was the Axle. A couple races ago, he was running second, or he started on the pole and dropped to 7th. And then there were a couple nights where, he had to deal with Thorson. That cost him points. It's just he wins, looks good, and then he has one of those DNFs. He can't have that. He's going to have to clean it up. By no means do I think this is over yet, and I still have Aaron Reitzel winning the title.
I do not think it's over. I just think it's going to be a tall task. And I don't know. I think it's going to be pushing it for him to come back. I agree. I think he's going to win more races, but I think the night that he wins, Rico's in the top 5, and it's hard to make up points like that.
It is, but the gap is bigger with High Limit from first to second than it is with the World of Outlaws. It's not just 4 points. So I think Reitzel's going to be fine. And there's some tracks that Reitzel goes to that he's just really, really... Port Royal, Rico's won at Port Royal once. Reitzel's better at Port Royal. And barring rain, they have 5 races there yet. The West Coast, Reitzel's just as good as Rico is out there. I think Reitzel's going to be fine, and I think they're going to trade the lead multiple times again the rest of the year.
I hope so. To me, that's part of what makes High Limit so good. I think it's intriguing every night. I think you have to watch every night to see what's going to happen, even if something bad like that happens to my driver. You have to tune in to see it.
Yeah, they have 10 point lead changes so far in 21 races. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. And then how about Rico being there without Ricky? I think go out there and win a race like that. I think that kind of says something about where Rico and the team are at.
I think they're deep.
There without your guy and still perform.
Yeah, I think, now granted, great thing about cell phones, and I'm sure that Ricky was in touch with them, But still, I think it does show the depth of that team. I do think they're good top to bottom. And I'm not going to say they don't miss a beat. I'm not going to diminish what Ricky Warner means. He means a lot. But I do think having him on the phone, he can watch the races. And then I think the guys who are out there, they've been together for, 3-4 years now? And I think that helps as well. They're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, I think, but I do think it's impressive.
Sure.
I don't know how many other teams could have their, on the phone or not, how many other teams can just not have their crew chief there and then go win a race with the field they had last night.
Agreed. Agreed.
And then also, I'll throw it in there. I've been meaning to mention for a while, but here, back where I'm from, around Tulsa, Creek County Speedway here, their weekly shows every weekend. I say every Saturday night of a weekly show, a different town or a couple different towns get in free.
Yes.
If that town's on their driver's license, you just walk right in. And I think you talked a lot about the $5 night. Everybody's talked about prices. And admittedly, I have not made it out there to see what one of those crowds look like. But, they're going 25, 35, 40 miles out from the racetrack to these towns.
Yeah.
If you show up with I think it's with an ID or a water bill or something. But if you're from that town, you get in for free, which is pretty cool.
I've seen that promotion done here. I think Babs did that with the surrounding area. I don't know if they do it now, but no, that's a great promotion. I like that. I think that's a good way to, and I think that kind of builds that's good vibes for the surrounding community.
With the community.
Well, and you need to do that with community. You have to be involved in your community now. That's how you avoid people not wanting your track shut down.
Yeah. Well, like I say, it's not just the closest communities either. They're
right.
Really, they're getting some, it's all over the area here. They're offering that.
No, it's a good promotion.
It is. All right, man. That's all I had for you. Thanks for taking my call, and good luck with your eye.
Well, thank you very much. It's getting better. So I appreciate it, Pete.
You bet. We'll see you.
Yep. All right. What do we got? Pick a dark horse winner during Ohio Speed Week. Darren Nida. You can see Darren Nida doing well and picking off a win. Somebody like that. Thoughts on Danny Sams versus Ayrton Genitin? I like a lot of people thought it was amusing that Genitin he was mad and he still got his sponsors out. That was impressive. Look, I do think Danny needs to settle down a little bit. It's not been a good year for him. And look, drivers press. They try and make something happen regardless of where they're running when things aren't going well. And obviously, from the people who I talked to or who were there, it was, he did run over him. So again, I wasn't there, but when things aren't going well, you got to be careful not to press, because that's when you make mistakes and then you start pissing off everybody in the pit area, which isn't good. But again, props to Genitin for somehow getting his sponsors in there during that interview. Does anyone know when Knoxville streaming contract with Dirt Vision comes up? Is that normally a yearly contract or multi-year? It's multi-year, and I think they're coming up on it. Is it at the end of this year, maybe? It's either this year or next year. I think that they're coming up, unless they inked a deal that I don't know about, which is possible if they kept it under wraps. I wouldn't see why you would, but I know it's coming up real soon. But they have multi-year deals. It doesn't go year to year. his name escapes me at the moment, but whatever happened to the guy who owns Honest Abe Roofing? He raced quite a bit last year. Oh, Kevin Newton. He's still sponsoring a lot of stuff. I don't know if he's busy or if he's working. I know he has a lot of those businesses, so those roofing businesses. So he might be pretty busy with that, and he's taking a break from racing, but he's still sponsoring a lot of stuff. Since the Babs promotion was a success, have you heard any rumblings of any other local tracks testing the waters in a similar way? Monkey see, monkey do. No, not right now. Schedules are made, so it wouldn't be this year. It'll be interesting to see if they do anything next year. That'll be the telltale. If they do something next year, obviously schedules are done now. They can't just throw it in there, or they wouldn't just throw it in there. So I'll be interested to see if tracks do something next year with pricing. I'll be interested to see if the series races are still $30. There's a lot of things that could happen over the off season. Rumors are Abe Lincoln raced sprint cars before he became president. What's with high limit being done with qualifying at 8, but still insist on starting 8:30? What happened to start with Freddie? Don't they have their Fan Fest thing that they do? I think they implemented that again this year, so I think they're doing the Fan Fest thing. Which current drivers will end up in the Hall of Fame? Woo. Gravel. Well, we'll just go down the list. Gravel, Macedo, Buddy Kofoid, Logan Schuchart, Sheldon Hodenshield, Donnie Schatz. We all know that one. I think you'll see Aaron Reitzel, Rico Abreu. They're Hall of Famers already. All those guys right there are Hall of Famers already, just based on outlaw wins and big races. I think Brent Marks ends up in the Hall of Fame. I think Tyler Courtney already has a crown jewel. He might have to do just a tick more. Not much, though. I think Danny Dietrich will end up in the Hall of Fame. I think Justin Sanders will end up in the Hall of Fame. Because if he wins an outlaw race, he's going to lock. He's on the West Coast. He's killing them out there. And that's not going to stop. And I'm sure I'm missing some guys, but they stick out. Ryan Timms. I think Ryan Timms, he has a Knoxville Nationals already. So I don't think it's a stretch to say that he'll have a Hall of Fame career. He's so young. He's going to win races. So, I mean, those are the guys who jump off the page for me right now. Yes, Kyle Larson. That's a gimme. Corey Day, probably as well. What do you think car count wise for Bedford? I think they're at 15. I don't think they get 20. I think 15. There's a lot of guys out of the area this week. Dietrich's out of the area. Chase Dietz is out of the area. The 39M's out of the area. The Kreitz car's out of the area. Ryan Newton's out of the area. There's 6? I don't think you get a lot of cars going to Bedford. Start praying for rain. Who will be the best performing posse member who is off the porch this weekend? Dietrich, because he's going to run Ohio Speed Week. He always performs pretty well there. And he had speed last weekend. And he's not going up against a 55-car field at Knoxville, which I think that field's going to be ridiculous. So I think Danny Dietrich. Brian Brown, Hall of Fame. Probably. probably has a Tuscarora 50 win. He's has a lot of Knoxville win. It's going to take him a while. It'll take him a while. He's going to need a couple more big wins. So, like, what is the criteria for Sprint Car Hall of Famer? That was a long list, and some might be just Hall of Very Good. Well, we already have people in there who are the Hall of Very Good. I'm on that committee, on those two committees, and there's people who I didn't vote for. I'm not going to go into who they are, but there's people I would never vote for who are in that Hall of Fame and didn't vote for who are in that Hall of Fame. It's already the Hall of Very Good. My criteria, I can only speak to me because the only criteria is being 50. Unless you die. If you die, then you could get in earlier, which that's kind of a bad way to get in. It's kind of terminal. It's kind of permanent. My criteria is National Series wins, Crown Jewels, what I would call majors, Tuscarora 50, Skagit Nationals, Gold Cup. Those are majors. They're not Crown Jewels. There's 3 Crown Jewels, in my opinion. It's Williams Grove, King National Open, Kings Royal, Knoxville Nationals. Everything else is a major that pays big money. Things like, yes, Macri Hall of Fame, definitely. Tim Kading's interesting. Brady Bacon, not yet. He'll get in for his non-wing stuff, though, because he has over 60-some wins. So he'll get in on the non-wing side. I like the names. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Anthony Macri. My fault. Sorry. But yes, Macri's a lock for the Hall of Fame. And he's not done yet. But to me, it's Crown Jewels, majors, and Sanction Series wins. And you start getting into your local stuff. That just pads your stats. In one of the last, God, my readings just, you have to excuse me, I'm squinting here. In one of the last times this year, which should make some fans happy, your thoughts on the NHL Finals? It's been fantastic. It's been weird. We had 2 nights. Game 3, Vegas is up 4-0. I'm on my way home because I'm done with it because I thought it was over, and then all of a sudden it's 4-4. Well, it was 4-3, and I said, okay, now I'm all in, and we went to second overtime, and it's just been wild. It's just been wild. And 2-2, now it's best of 3. I think it goes 7. And I'm in for all of it. It's not the most well played, but it's the highest scoring in 45 years. It's entertaining. I'm there. I'm all in. Dan on line 6. How are you?
Yes, fine. Do you think the PA Epoxy Series, instead of a field draw, running gas?
Say that again.
In the PA Epoxy Series, do you think they should, instead of a field draw for positions, have a dash instead, like the Outlaws and how they would do?
No, I don't think that's a necessity. No. Nope.
Thank you.
I don't think local fans would like that. All right.
Thank you.
No problem, Dan. All right. Is there a reason why Huset's and Skagit are racing on the same weekend? How many cars do you anticipate at both events? They didn't used to be on the same weekend. Actually, Huset's was over Pennsylvania Speed Week for a while, and then they got off Pennsylvania Speed Week, and then of course they It's Skagit. Look, when you have so many big races in the country, you're going to run over somebody. There's no way you can avoid it. It's just the way it's going to be at this point, especially during the summer, and especially with all the big Kings Royal. You're not running against that. You're not running against the Knoxville Nationals. You're staying away from that. So there's only so many weekends, so you can't really. You're going to run over something. I think you get 50 cars. I think you could get, Skagit. You lose Schlotfeld because he hurt his back. Tyler Thompson should be back. But I think you get like 48 at Skagit, maybe 50. And then I think at Huset's you could get 58, 60. Scott, the happiest caller on earth, line 7. Scott, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today, Jeremy? Glad to hear your voice.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry to hear about your eye being annoying, too. That's no fun. You know what it is? You got to wear bigger goggles when you're at the dirt track. All that dust and stuff.
No.
All right.
I don't think it was that. It's just a bacterial staph infection, they said.
Oh, gosh.
But it's clearing up. They gave me some really good stuff.
Good. Well, that's why you pay taxes, so they can give you good stuff. You know how.
Oh no, I had to pay for
it. Yeah, I know. Don't we all? Amen. So I came to the chat a little bit late. Right now I've been out in Arizona, and it's great to be 3 hours behind the East Coast because you can see a lot of cool stuff. But as far as someone said something about Smith was the best thing ever in the 75. I'm going to strongly disagree with that one. Dietz was in the 75, and he put that car on the map. After he put the car on the map, then it wasn't Trone put him in the 39, if I recall. He showed up in that, and then he had he took off from the Trone thing, and that's where he ran the dual thing with the 1Z and his own 2L, if I recall.
Well, it was a 2D.
But, Dietz.
2D.
That's what I mean. Whatever his own car, it was darn good.
Yes.
You know, for coming off the first year, I mean, he was competitive right away.
Yes.
Dietz is the real deal. Although I laughed when I saw Speed Sport this week where they had him first in the country. No way. I mean, he races in Penske. He's not racing against the two series. He's good. You're not going to deny that, but until he beats them all in a major, I don't think you can say he's the best in the country.
I chuckle at their rankings a lot. I don't know how they do them. I don't know how they figure them out. I have no. I don't like.
Suno's a West Coast driver. He's in the great. They got him number 1 in the Midwest.
Well, look. I don't like taking shots at other media guys. I don't like them, but their rankings make 0.0 sense. So I think they're just doing it. I don't think I don't even know what they're doing. I don't know how they justify it. So, I mean, good for them. I don't get it. And look, Chase is number 1 in Pennsylvania.
Listen, it's hot stove talk. I mean, I'm glad that somebody put something out there because I don't have time to do like raw.
Yeah, but don't you want to be right? Shouldn't you strive to be right? Or close?
Well, based on the data that they're using, though, Jeremy, they're going to tell you they're right. Because if you look at the solo filter that they did in the top 5, they're going solely on average finish. Like that's the thing that I looked at. Like if you look at the top 5 nationally from the listing this time, solely was that. I mean, it was I think Dietz was like a 5.233, etc. And then, the rest of the good guys, the other 4 guys who are phenomenal, Carson, Gravel, who's the other guy I'm forgetting? The third one from the out. Oh, Kofoid. Sorry, Buddy. Keith Kidd, you got to love those midgets, Jeremy. Those
No,
midgets
I don't.
develop good, quick drivers.
Look,
Luke Larson was a Keith Kid. Macedo was a Keith Kid. Kofoid was a Keith Kid. There's something to be said for that college program that guy runs out of. This
wait a second, though. They were all sprint car drivers first.
Oh, they ran wingless 600s.
No,
Come on, brother.
They all ran California.
What is it going to call the outlaw carts? The outlaw
No.
carts from what?
Carson Macedo won a NARC title without winning a race.
No, but hey, okay.
Kyle won the
Where
Gold
did he
Cup.
race before he ran? But where did they race before that, sir?
But it doesn't matter. They are sprint car drivers who ran midgets.
Well, but how do you think they cut their teeth to be that good?
I think it's because they're sprint car drivers.
This is the thing I disagree with you, sir.
That's fine.
You look at Steven Snyder. Steven Snyder.
Yeah.
Had you ever seen him run at Clyde Martin, sir?
No, I don't go to that stuff. I just don't.
Well, here's the thing. But don't. This is what you did to me last time, and I didn't appreciate that.
What?
You said that you kind of listen. No. Let me finish. You kind of put it down, and there's something to be said. Like one thing I didn't get to say. One of the most electric things I've ever seen was USAC at Clyde Martin. Now you may not want to give that the opportunity to view it, but I happened to be there that night that Stevie drove up on the thing. It was one of the most electric things I've ever seen in my life. I know your business is sprint car racing, sir. I totally get it. That's why I'm calling into this. But we have to be open to other things. We whine about the prices all the time. I mean, past two shows, you're whining about the prices. A couple years ago, Kyle Larson was at Linda's for $5.
Yeah.
And he ran 30 spotless laps in the #1 hypercar, and Steven Snyder did not give him a car length the whole show. Now, listen, $5. You want to see some good racing, sir? There is good racing in Pennsylvania for $5. Clyde Martin Saturdays.
Yes, but nobody
Fridays
goes
back.
to it.
Well, and if we keep bad mouthing it, nobody will.
But okay, now here's where I got to fire back. My job's not to promote anybody.
No, it isn't to promote. This is a sprint car talk.
But no. It's not even that. It's not even that. It's not even that. It's not even that.
Oh, so I shouldn't call because of
No. That's not what I'm saying. I will admit this. First time I'm admitting.
Garrett, you calm down.
I'm admitting this. I watched midget racing when Buddy Kofoid ran.
I'm listening. I'm with you. I'm just letting you talk, sir.
No. That's it. And the reason is because I knew him from a sprint car out in California where I watched him because I went out. I'm telling you this. The guys who go into USAC, sprint cars, we'll say sprint cars.
Oh, I don't think that's a good career move. I agree.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is wing guys who go into that do very well. Sprint car guys who go run midgets do very well. So that tells me sprint car guys, they're sprint car guys. They go to midgets,
okay,
and they do and look, I have nothing to get. Here's what I don't like about midgets. What I don't like about midgets is we're going to slide a guy and stop. And that's the race.
Yeah.
It's nonstop. But I mean, that doesn't mean
some of the short, Jeremy, I don't mean to be mean, but some of these short tracks out in the Midwest, these bull rings, we've been seeing some of the things. I mean, the guys are throwing bombs in the big cars too. So I mean, it's just I think it's.
But that's it for them.
It's racing. They're racing for positions.
But I don't have anything against it. Like I mean, look, I don't.
I got to get you to Clyde sometime. I wish USAC ran at Clyde still. They won't. We got to get you to Clyde sometime. Maybe Hyper Speed Week where they got the real talent there. I bet you'd enjoy it, Jeremy.
I mean, I've been to Linda's.
And the other thing, well, Linda's is great, but got to come up to Clyde. Clyde's a different animal. It's a little bit more high bank. It's a little bit top side dominant.
You haven't been there yet.
You know, I saw somebody. Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say, hey, Bacon's been killing it lately. Running second in that one track, he showed up
consistent
21.8. He's doing a nice job. And how about some love for next week, Jeremy? Are you going to come out to any of the races?
Which the USAC Eastern Storm
without the wings? Yeah, you going to come out to any of them?
Well, I'll be at Huset's.
Oh, God bless you. Well, hey, I don't blame you, bud. Good for you.
Well, look, I'm always worried about the weather at Huset's. it's just...
No, that's a shame. The one show that's really cool is that port show where you get to see the fat bottom girls, those silver crown cars.
Yep.
They are so beautiful. Such a different way of looking at a race, but God, are they gorgeous. Classic.
Yeah, I just
hey,
I would be there if I wasn't at Huset's.
I know that's a neat threefer. I mean, 410s and that's amazing. What was I going to say? Oh, I tried to call you last week to give you money, but no luck. I'll try and text you again.
Oh, did you email?
I did, but I don't know. I did that, and I offered something too about the T-shirts. I don't know if you got that. I can help you with the T-shirts.
Well,
I'd be more than happy to help you with that number too.
Sometimes stuff goes to my spam folder, so let me check my other folders and go from there.
I'll do it again after the show tonight.
Sounds good.
For it tomorrow. It'll be from the. All right, brother. Hey, thanks you for your time and.
No problem.
I hope. Sometimes I get excited. I didn't mean to get.
That's all right.
About.
That's all right.
I just want to keep bringing the 600s, man. Let me tell you, Jeremy, Hyper Speedway, if you're around and you're not traveling for Kings Royal, come see one of them. I think even if the one at Bath, it is amazing.
Oh, I've actually shot. I've shot some of those with a camera when for BAPS. So, but I'll be at Kings Royal. I mean, there's.
Yeah, I was going to say that's probably the same week. Well, someday I'll see you at Kings Royal. I can't wait.
Sounds good. Thanks, Scott.
Hey, thank you for your time and keep up the excellent work for the spirit of the sport. We love it.
All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Carson Macedo has 4 starts outside the Outlaws, 2 with High Limit and 2 with NARC. Is he done with starts outside the Outlaws, or is it only 4 High Limit start they can use? NARC didn't count against him because I think he was in another car. So he still has 2. He will use them at Eldora for Joker's Jackpot. He was in a different car for NARC. What sponsors did Brock Zierfoss lose recently? Heavy equipment and C&D rigging. C&D rigging sold, and heavy equipment, I just think they're out of it right now. I think they got some business stuff they're working on. Jeremy, has overexposure of sprint car racing due to streaming of all series and YouTube replays caused attendance to decrease? I don't think replays have anything to do with it. I know people who go to the race, watch the race, and then watch the replay of the race. Now that's some studying. So no, I don't think replays have anything to do with it. I think the majority of race fans want to see, like I could see them watching the whole feature. They're not replays. I think people go and they'll watch the replays anyway. I don't think that's hurting attendance. I think I'm more concerned that people stay home from weekly shows, not the national events, but they stay home from the weekly shows because they don't have enough money to go to all the weekly shows and on all the big shows on top of it. So you can buy, so let's say, for instance, Sugar Bear in Pennsylvania. Let's say you have a $25 price tag, regular show. Well, even 20. You can buy Flow for the price of 8 local shows. So why wouldn't you buy Flow? And then you'll get High Limit. You'll get all those local shows you want. And you're going to probably, if you want to watch Flow Hockey, Flow Wrestling, Flow this, Flow that, you can. Or even Dirt Vision. Same principle. You can buy Dirt Vision. I think they have different packages. You can pay monthly. You can pay the $3.99. I just think it's made it easy, and people are being more selective with what shows they go to, which is in Pennsylvania, Tuscarora 50, Outlaws, High Limit, Speed Week. And then the weekly shows is hit or miss. I think they work in tandem. And if it's 50% chance of rain, they're staying home. Nobody likes rain checks. So I put replays now. Do you have any idea why Willamette Speedway was taken off the NARC Fastest 5 Days Road to Dirt Cup? Yeah, that just happened. There's some legal issue there, I think. If I'm not mistaken, Joseph Terrell, if I can get clarification from Joseph Terrell before the end of the show, I will pass that along. But I heard there was some legal thing going on there. What do you think will be the car count at Clinton County this Friday? Boy, I don't know. It's supposed to rain. So 21 maybe, because I think they could get some 305s and 360s to run that. So maybe 21, maybe. Billy Dietrich will go up. He'll win. He loves that place. Goes like hell up there. First time, both Red Cedar and Lawrenceburg. Love both tracks. Yeah, no, there's a lot of action at both of them. I've been to both of them. It was good. It was good. Tonight is the Dirt Cup for late models. If successful, do you ever see something similar in sprint cars? I don't. We have enough things going on right now in sprint car racing. Adding more things like that, I just don't think it's on sprint car racing's radar, especially with 2 series. And you have, well, again, there's so much from June till about last weekend in August. It's jammed. There's no room for anything. So now you're in those first few months of the season when the weather's sketchy, or in the fall when a lot of tracks close. Houston closes after Labor Day. After the Tuscarora 50, Port Royal's closed. You want a premier facility to do something like that? And I don't know. It's just a jam-packed schedule, and I don't think we can take any more racing. Something would have to go for something like that to exist. Knoxville did free admission, sold out the place. Next week, it was a ghost town in the stands. People don't care that much to see a sport. They have no emotional investment. There's no storylines. Yeah, you got to always have storylines. I mean, they're not going to go for no reason. And you have to ask yourself, regardless of what the admission price is, whether it's free or $20 or $30, is there something to draw them there? Is there drama? Is there something exciting? So I think regardless of the price, I think you need storylines, or you need some kind of to get people charged up to go. I've been told recently that the current Sealands Grove promotional team is done after this year. I sure hope we don't lose another track. I have not heard either way. Maybe their lease is up, but they could renew that lease. I think that's more I've heard that it was a 2-year lease, but they could re-sign, certainly. You know, it's tough making it up there at Selinsgrove because, again, you're the last one to the table. You know, I sympathize with Selinsgrove in that, again, it feels like you're driving to New York, even though you're not, but you're going up 11-15, and it just feels long. If you run Friday night, you're going against the Grove, and, you know, you're going up 11-15. People aren't going to go from, you know, below Harrisburg in rush hour traffic. And then if it's the fall, it's Penn State traffic. And, you know, then if you run Saturdays, you're the third wheel there. And then Sundays, you're looking for the dates outside of BAPS. And now the PA series, which is at Bedford, Path Valley, and other places. So I sympathize with Selinsgrove in that regard. It's tough to make it work up there. But I think that's a lease. It's a lease deal, and I think their lease might be up, but they could definitely re-up their lease, I believe. In my opinion, for high limit show where they go to tracks on weekend when they might not need a B main, they should run only one support class on the weekend, not during the week. They don't run many support classes at all, regardless. I'm okay on the weekend if they have a support class. Definitely. It's long. I mean, it's a little longer, but I think it makes for a better track surface. During the week, get it in, get it done. Get it in and get it done. Is the market oversaturated? I think in different areas, yes. I think in central Pennsylvania, we're not creating demand. Think about the Midwest. Houston starts in May and ends Labor Day. There's a little demand there. Knoxville starts in April and they're done the week after the Nationals, and then they have the late models come in mid-September. But there's a little more demand there because you can't see so many shows. I do think central Pennsylvania has a demand problem. I think if you're a 410 fan out in California, even though 360, 410 seems to be interchangeable out there, again, I think there's more demand there. I'm not saying our crowds are better. I'm saying there's more demand. I wonder what it would look like in central PA if we started in March like we used to, and we ended, in the beginning of October like we used to. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't do well. Maybe it would. But yes, I do think Pennsylvania's oversaturated. 279 watching, only 65 likes. Come on, everyone, hit the like button. Yeah, please do. I appreciate it. Narc After Dark is great entertainment. I have their events. I love their events. Never a dull moment with Narc, Sugar Bear. Never a dull moment. And it could go down to the last lap. And that doesn't mean there's a pass for a lead on the last lap. It just means chaos could happen on the last lap. Last night had like 4 double-digit chargers: Macedo, Day, Larson, Persley. Yeah, it was good. It was a good show. I know a lot of people have thoughts on it. Other media types. I just shake my head. Look, anybody can win these races if the situation goes right anytime. They just can. So, but no, those guys were pretty good. I was concerned about Macedo, but drove through the field. Hard charger. Day looked really good. There was one point I thought he could win. When he got up to 4th, I'm like, catch a caution or two, he could win. And then he dropped back to 7th. I don't know if he burned the tires off it or what. Larson just never a factor, just kind of crept his way to the front. And Persley, same thing. So that was good stuff. Entertaining. Will Chase Dietz be a boom or bust at Knoxville? Whew. Good question. I think making the field is a success for him. He's never made the field. He hasn't made the field at Knoxville. I don't think. So just to make the field this time, and that's a stacked field. Stacked. I mean, you're going to have all the high limit guys there. He's only been there, I think, once. I'm actually checking here. For Knoxville, Chase Dietz has been there. Well, I lie. He's run there 8 times. He has a top 10 there. In 2025, I think it was a weekly show. So he does have a top 10. But a field like that, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, Friday, August 8th last year, he finished 10th in Hard Knocks. Other than that, he's only made the show one time, and that was back in 2021. And that was a local show. That was a regular local show. So, not easy. So, just make the shows. Top 15, make the shows. Macri update. I think we'll see him in the next. I think we could see him by Speed Week. I saw him this weekend. He didn't have the back brace on. So I think Speed Week is a date I would look for him to possibly get back in the car. Any updates on Steven Snyder Jr.? I know he's running non-wing stuff. The 87 Spire car was not out this weekend. That's about the only update I have. I've not heard his name thrown around for anything coming up. Too bad no seatbelt for Speed Week. Just glad dude walked away on Sunday. Yeah, you always hold your breath in those instances, those big wrecks. But yeah, no Christopher Bell. He's committed to his day job, I guess, his regular job. And I think he wants to focus on that. Is Marks racing Knoxville this weekend? Haven't seen his schedule posted anywhere. I would assume so. I will actually shoot him a text now and see. We'll see if he's running Knoxville. Be nice if I could spell. At least I could see it. All right. Hopefully I'll have an answer. Shout out to Reese Moran and his B May run last night. He has some nice runs in that car lately. Yeah, he's had a couple good runs. The object there, he's got to get out of the B main. Now, granted, tough field last night, and it all comes down to timing better. Time trials is just so critical in this sport right now. Actually, the pill draw for time trials is critical right now. Unless you're David Gravel, then it pretty much, most nights it doesn't matter. Are you and Ryan going to do picks for our local races this weekend? No, we didn't. And that's because nobody's going to be here. We don't know it's tough to know who's going to show up at Williams Grove, Lincoln, and Port Royal this weekend. Plus, we knew the weather was terrible for Friday night. And Bedford, God knows who's going out there. You just take Troy Wagaman. But Dietz is gone. Dietrich's gone. The 39M's gone. The 69K's gone. Ryan Newton's gone. That's 5 just without even thinking about it. So, no, we're not going to pick races where the field's just going to be so light. And I think it's going to be light each race this weekend. Who knows? But you might have more guys come out who normally don't come out. That happens sometimes. You'll see Glendon Forsythe out like he was out last week. You'll see some of the non-regulars show up who race 20 times a year or 10 times a year. They'll show up on weekends when the heavy hitters are gone just to, steal a win or two or steal some money. The logistics make it challenging, but will any high-limit teams make the Super Haul from Montana to get to the Steve Smith Tribute at Lincoln? I don't see how they can do it. Unless they have multiple drivers with CDLs, I could see guys flying in. I know one in particular. I could see, and even Brent Marks, I just don't think he'd do it. It's going to be tough to make it back to that. Do you think the 57 will be in on Monday Speed Week? Yes, I do. Jeremy, great run by Tanner Holmes last night. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he just got 4 wheels above the fluff and collected the wall. He was running 10th at the time. I think he had a dash spot. I don't know what happened there. But he lost. He was falling back in the order. I guess it was a good run. I don't view that as a great run. You're being sarcastic, though. I know that. Aaron is far more consistent than Rico is. Aaron wins the title. I feel Aaron is in the prime right now. Your thoughts? Yeah, I still have Aaron. I'm not going to waver from Aaron Reitzel just because he's 39 points back. He can win races in bunches. And there's a lot of tracks on the schedule where he's really good. Port Royal being one of them. Rico's good there too, but I think Aaron's even better. I think he's good on the West Coast as well. And I just think he's going to win more races. So this thing can turn around real quick. I mean, last night, Aaron finishes at worst, third last night. Probably second, because it looked like he was better than Gravel. And then we're not even having this conversation. It's not like Aaron Reitzel doesn't have speed. I would be concerned if he's not fast. He's fast, he'll be fine. Do you predict any top 3s for Zerfoss in the snow car? No. It's a tough ask. No. Tell you what I do expect. I expect Justin Sanders, James McFadden. I expect them in the top 3 almost every night. There's 2 spots already. Almost every night. And then once you get to Skagit, you have Trey Starks. I think Levi Hillier I heard he's going to run all of the fastest 5 days of motorsports, which is why I took him the one night. I think those are your top 3. Somewhere in that group. Any thoughts on Rumsey's new deal with Brewer and Boehner in the 75? I mean, I think that's good for Rumsey to get a little more money, obviously, at his disposal. They have just a small family team. Certainly going to help with resources. I don't know if they're pairing up where Brewer's coming on board the 41 or if Rumsey's going to the 95. Not sure what the logistics are on that. I like Boehner. I liked him when he was in the 5E car at Lincoln. So I like him in the 75. I do think Rick Lefevre has better stuff than maybe what people think. I think they'll be fine. They were running 6th at Lincoln in their first outing. Struggled at BAPS last week. But overall, I think they'll be just fine. I like both of them. Who wins Ohio Speed Week, PA Speed Week? As far as the title, Dietrich's going to win Ohio Speed Week and Pennsylvania Speed Week. It's a loaded. I'll say Chase Dietz. But Macri, if Macri runs, it's going to be nip and tuck. But I'll say Chase Dietz. Go with the chalk. Don't sleep on Bryce for Ohio Speed Week. Lucius, I don't know if he's going to run all of them. I don't know if he's going to run all of them. But even so, Dietrich won it last year. I think Dietrich's going out there with some speed. I think he'll be, and he loves the slick. I think it'll be fine. Jeremy, will every high limit team be at Knoxville this weekend? Probably not everyone. I don't know if Cy Lynch would be there, or maybe that's a good question. I think most of them will be there. I think you could see one or two skip it, but for the most part, I think they'll be there. And I think weather could come into play if Saturday gets clipped. Do you skip Friday because Saturday doesn't look good, where you can go race somewhere else and get more than one race in? I think that comes into play. But I think most of them will be there. I think you're going to have 55 cars. Don't count out McFadden for PA Speed Week title. Yeah, I thought of that. I do think there'll be a couple tracks. I mean, Chase Dietz he had a bad weekend last week and finished 2nd, 4th, and 5th. That was a bad weekend. I rest my case. I think McFadden's really good, and I'm really anxious to see him run Speed Week. But I think Chase Dietz and Anthony Macri will be 1-2 in that ordeal. Yeah, the Hefner South car is being run for the entirety of Ohio Speed Week. I'm still taking Danny Dietrich. With Thorson, with Thorson starting to come back to earth, what are your thoughts on the depth of high limit roster? Outlaws and Invaders whipped up last night outside of Rico. Well, I don't know. Aaron Reitzel was probably going to go run 2nd. Corey Day was up to 4th. Timms was in the top 5, or in the top 10, I'm sorry, and Larson was in the top 10. Whipped up is a strong statement. It's just some things happened. Do I think the Outlaws I think the Outlaws have more hitters. Yeah, absolutely. I think the top 3 of Gravel, Kofoid, and Macedo. Yes, I think Aaron Reitzel's right in there with them. And then I think Sheldon looks really good right now. Donnie, again, doesn't time well. Logan, just not timing well. But yeah, I think the Outlaws are better right now. Yeah. But as far as winning, anybody on those rosters can win if everything goes right. Rico showed that last night. What did Aaron Reitzel have? Don't know. We won't know. Let's not act like it was like there were no high limit guys anywhere to be found. Okay, but it's fine. It's just, but yeah, I think the Outlaws have a deeper roster right now. Another injury, Jesse Schlotfeld with a fractured C6 vertebrae. Yeah. The good news is he should be healed in 6 to 8 weeks. That's the good news. So I know originally, I guess they thought they were going to miss the year. Although 6 to 8 weeks out there. But he should be back for the Skagit Nationals then. So yeah, it's good that it's going to heal. Do you think Baps turned a profit on their $5 night? I know they turned a profit on their $5 night. Yes, they turned a profit. Has a 69K left PA for Skagit yet? They're going to Knoxville first and then off to Skagit. So I would assume they're leaving probably today for Knoxville. Were you at all surprised to see Borden back behind the wheel of the 45? Yeah, after some of the stuff he said on Facebook about Grove, yeah, I was really surprised to see that. Incredibly surprised to see that. But these guys, they'll just keep running. Just keep running. Happy belated birthday to Keith Kaufman. Where's Justin Whittall been? He's committed to the series. I think after the Lincoln deal with Bollinger, he had a car. I mean, he had a lot of damage on that car. I think they just took last weekend off and be ready for the series race at Bedford if they go. I mean, obviously that could be one of their mulligans because you get 3 mulligans, which again, I still don't understand. But he could be, if he's going to be there, I can understand him not being around last weekend. And again, he series number 1 priority for him. Speaking of crown jewel races, it's time to admit that there's only 2 at this point. There's only 2 races that everyone shows up for and really cares about winning. The National Open is a major. I'm not dropping it yet. I know people are down on the Grove, and quite honestly, after last week, they should be. An hour and 44 minutes off on your time schedule because you overwatered the track is ridiculous and unacceptable. I agree with that. But I'm not ready to drop the National Open down to a major simply because of the history. And high limit guys could show up. They choose not to. Has Rico been at every National Open that he wasn't with high limit? No. Nor was Aaron Reitzel. It was still a crown jewel then. Why are we moving the goalpost? For years, those guys didn't come into that race. And nobody said anything about dropping it from quote-unquote crown jewel status. It still has the history, and people still care if they win at Williams Grove. When I leave this area, nobody asks me who wins at Port Royal, Lincoln, or Baps, or anywhere else. They ask who wins at Williams Grove. It's a fact. Not dropping it. Over under. Will the hockey game tomorrow have a higher total goals scored amount of cars passed by our car? Braden. No, you guys will pass more cars. What are you guys at? 139, 137? You're plus. You got to start timing better. Come on. You didn't even time well with the Ford in. What are you doing? What are you doing? No, Carson will be okay. Started winning races. 3 out of the last 6 outlaw races, which is no surprise. He does it every year. And now he's within 70 of David Gravel. Is Borden going to stay in the Grove 45 for more All-Star shows? That was the impression I was given. I don't know if he isn't or I don't know if he is or isn't. It's plus 137 for Macedo. But yeah, I don't know if he stays or not. Seems like that's a short-term solution for a lot of people. Jeremy, please discuss the season of Tyler Courtney. Is it injury or car related? I've said I think the Stantons are a little behind right now with The three cars who run them are Selzy, Courtney, and Baston. They don't really time trial well unless they win the pill draw. And I just think they're a little behind. Do I think they'll catch up? Sure. It goes in cycles. It happens all the time. So I don't think it's Courtney. Do you expect the 69K to have the same speed as they did at the 2024 Nationals? They've struggled a bit this year. So no. I think that they've struggled a little bit, and it's easy to get buried in that field. That field they're going to be running against is stronger than the qualifying night at the Nationals. So I think it's a long road to hoe there. I expect them to be better at Skagit. I expect Pittman to fare pretty well at Skagit. Is Bacon the most underrated driver right now due to his ability to drive anything? I think, it's funny you use the term underrated. I do think that he gets overlooked. And this year he's been pretty good. He's surpassed last year's top 5 total already, or he's on his way. I did something on my 90 at 9 on it. I believe it was Monday. And I tend to agree with you. I think getting better and better in the Chris Dyson car. The 21H is still strong in the Midwest. I think Bacon is getting a handle on this wing thing, and I know he ran him before, but I just think he's getting better and better. And I think if he continues down this path, I think he's going to continue to improve. I think he's a very versatile driver, and I think he's a very good driver. Jeremy, Outlaws for freebies don't count if you're racing a different car. No, from what I gather, they do not. Are we going to see anything from Corbett and King Shot? Other than a local show? Probably not. Like, I could see them doing well at a Huset's local show. But the big shows, which they're going to run, no. Jeremy, the 121 in California has one of the best driver lineups in sprint car history. Discuss. Jovan Schriltz just has a way about him, and I've often said this. I've told him. He just makes things work. And somehow he gets these drivers. And they fare pretty well. Look, Winter Heat, he got Greg Hodnett and Ryan Hand, and they ran really well. I could have won in a car that probably very few people know about outside of California. If Joe ever comes back, I want to see the banana. The yellow with the silver wing, which I'm always partial to the silver wing. But he has a way of making things work. And he has a way of getting good drivers. And even the drivers, I mean, Justin Sanders was very green when he got into 121. Shane Golobic, very green in the 121. So it's not even drivers who already are really good, like a Danny Lasowski, Jack Hodenshield, Greg Hodnett. He has an eye for talent, Buddy Kofoid, so on and so forth. He just has a really good eye for talent because in sports, he's a sports guy. And it's no nonsense. So Joe's very successful. There's the banana. We love the banana. One of my favorite all-time cars. But Joe does a great job. I wish he had a car. Justin being in it just because, man, they had some good outlaw runs in that car. Top 7 finishes for, again, poll 200 people outside the California. They don't even know who that car is. And he just does a good job, and he knows talent. He turned me on to Buddy Kofoid. I went and watched him. It's a funny story. I went out. How I know Joe and how I got to know Joe, I started SprintCarUnlimited.com, and I went to Greg Hodden and I said, hey, I'm going to California, is there anybody out there who I can kind of lean on and talk to for some information? And he pointed me in Joe's direction. Joe's a super nice guy. I'd give you the shirt off his back. And I went out there. I stayed at a hotel next to his shop. Now he did get me with Joey Bats. Joey Bats picked me up at the airport. I still don't know how I feel about that. I'm still recovering. And then I rode with Joe to Calistoga. And I got a chance to watch Gio and Buddy that weekend for the first time. And it was just, he has a good eye for talent. I'd like to think I do as well, because we kind of think alike on some things. But he turned me on to those two. And Buddy, I actually wrote about him when I was out there. It was one of the first long-form stories I did for SprintCarUnlimited.com back in 2017. So Joe knows what he's doing. Understand that Carson Macedo ran the Ford again with high limit last night, per Dirt Tracker. Thoughts or insight? I mean, I knew he was going to run it. I'm surprised it didn't time better. I'm not surprised. I think, and I don't know what that program needs. Not Macedo, I'm talking about Ford. I don't know if they just need a new set of eyes, and Philip Dietz is obviously a new set of eyes on that thing. I don't know if it needs to be nurtured a different way or brought along a different way. Not 100% sure on that. But they've run pretty sporty. Macedo has put that thing in, and it's been sporty. Do I think they switch to it? No, especially now. They're 70 points behind gravel. I think there's 0.0 chance they stick that in for an outlaw show unless they're out of the points. So I think it's coming along. I'll say it's coming along. Macedo's had some good runs with it. Hang on a second here. Jeremy Moore, 3 to 5 day events help the sport. Prove me wrong. I can't prove you wrong because I agree with that. Kerry Madsen and I talked about this in 2016. 3 and 5 day events is a long time at one venue. I don't know if one venue can pull off that many races in a row. But if you're doing like a series, like Fastest 5 Days, or you're doing Speed Week, or if you're counting that in the 5 days, yes. One venue, 5 days, too much. I think track conditions, so on and so forth. But I agree. You're not going to have me prove me wrong. There's nothing to prove. I agree with it. 3 day events, guys, they travel in, they're at one spot. That's it. So I think I'm not going to prove you wrong. I'm in favor of that. $121 discovered Buddy Kofoid. I think Joe would even say, I don't think he discovered him. I mean, he won a sprint car race in Nevada when he was 11. He won and Joe can chime in. I think he won, it was a Trophy Cup or Gold Cup prelim at like 13, 14. So I'm not going to say that. I think Joe was very well aware of him. But I think Buddy Kofoid was on people. He was on people's radar before that. Discovered is a strong term. Dan Simpson discovered Buddy. That, yes. Because when I saw him in 2017, he was running a Simpson car, and it was a phenomenal performance at Calistoga. Rico Abreu, whose dad ran the track at that point, was all over Buddy, was faster, and he couldn't pass him. It wasn't until Buddy shredded a tire that Rico got him. It was a masterful drive by Buddy to keep him behind him. He couldn't pass him. And that's when I saw Buddy the night before at Ocean and said, that guy's going to be really good. You just see his car control and just how good he was. He didn't even win that night. It was Golubic won. But it was Buddy and Dan Simpson, the 4 car. Only 99 likes. Wow. Happens again. I'm on a Wednesday. We'll do our best. If I put my cat up, the question is, if I put my cat up like I did for the 90 at 9, will that get more likes? No storyline is a big reason this PA Posse series is failing right now. Does anyone even know or care who's leading the points? Well, Chase East is leading the points. That's just obvious. I think there's a lot of the problem with the PA series is there's no hook. What's the hook? You're seeing the same drivers that you're seeing on a weekly basis. And you added time trial shows, which people don't want. They want handicap shows in this area now. It's just the problem. It's almost like they didn't listen to the fans. And they didn't listen to the drivers. Walk the pit area. Walk through the grandstand. Now, I'm fortunate because I have shows like this, and I get a lot of emails during the week, and I get to interact with fans. I have a luxury that maybe promoters don't have as much, but there's no hook, and you're not giving the people what they want. If you don't give the customer what they want, they're not coming. Simple. Chloe gets likes. Yeah, I don't even know where she's at. Oh, she's over with my daughter. She's a big. The hard part was picking the picture we wanted. I might do it tomorrow. I don't know what my eye is going to look like in the morning. I spent a lot of time. I've spent more time than I probably should on the computer today, but we'll see how it is in the morning. Rico spun, and then under yellow, Buddy's tire went right. That's right. Went flat. Neto won in the 3C. Correct. I wasn't sure when Rico spun, but I know Buddy had a flat. For as little as I care about the PA Sprint Car Series, I'm really looking forward to see who can win PA Speed Week. Field feels a lot more open with no Macri. I think Macri's going to be back by then. But look, he's been sitting out a long time. How's that? What's that going to be like? I don't think he'll miss a beat, because he's been around it. He's been in the pit area, and I just think he's been through this before. Came back last year and won pretty quick. So, but even with Macri there, I think it's wide open. I mean, who doesn't want to? Okay, now we talk about storylines. You're going to have Dietz and Macri. Okay, who's the dominant car? You're going to have Danny Dietrich, Danny Dietrich always gets fast at Ohio Speed Week. The more races you give that guy, the better off he is. And he did have speed last week and should have won at Williams Grove. He got caught behind Preston Latimus, and then he made a mistake in turn he just slipped off the bottom and they traded the top spot. But Danny was fast on Sunday, and if there's no yellow, he wins. But Cameron Smith was really, really good in clean air on that restart. Those three guys are the guys to watch during Speed Week. And, of course, you have James McFadden. Do you know how the sanctioning fees between High Limit and Woo compare? Yeah, it's $25,000 a night for World of Outlaws, and for High Limit, it's $15,000. I wrote a story about it on SprintCarUnlimited.com comparing the financials of both series. Both series essentially told me what it costs to put on a race, joint ventures versus a lot of information in there. It was a long form piece. Seems like track surface has been great at Sealands Grove this year. Decent spectator support too. That's good. I mean, I wish them the best. I hope, you never want to see a track close, but so I hope they do well. Corey Day, always worth the price of admission. Never boring. Never boring. You never know what you're getting. So again, storyline. Jeremy, a lot of fans think Outlaws and High Limit, pick the tracks and run them. Please clear up what sort of sorry, my eyes are starting to short deals tracks have with national tours, and it's not just chosen by Brad or Brian Carter. No, the tracks, Williams Grove, for instance, their sanction shows the track runs it. Now, the Outlaws run the show as far as their officials, but the responsibility financially is on the Grove. Attica's like that. There's a list of them. I don't have the list off the top of my head, but Attica, Williams Grove, those are shows. They're not joint ventures, and they're not rent-a-track. Both series do both. They do all three of them. Most of them are joint ventures. Basically, okay, you pay the sanction fee, and then all the plus and minus expenses from there, minus concessions usually, is all split at the end of the night. If you have a loss, you split that loss in half. If you're making money, you split it. Then you have the sanction shows, which basically I pay Sugar Bear, you're the national series. I pay you $25,000. You come in, your officials run the show in conjunction with my officials, and I'm responsible. I have all the financial liability, whether I make money or lose money. You got your $25,000, that's it. Dirt Vision doesn't pay anything. You get nothing from Dirt Vision that night. Whereas High Limit, you get, I think it's $5,000, something like that from Flow. I have it in my story. Most of them are joint ventures. High Limit has rented tracks. The Outlaws have rented tracks. They don't do it a ton. And then you have like Port Royal. Those are sanctioned races. They don't split with High Limit. They're sanctioned shows by Port Royal. What you call sanctioned shows. That's when the track has all financial responsibility. JVs or joint ventures are the split, and then the rent-a-tracks. In that story, I had, what is it? It's Williams Grove, Attica, Knoxville. Knoxville is sanctioned. Your Eldora sanctioned. The series do not get a piece of they're not joint ventures. So your big tracks, they're sanctioned shows, and they have the responsibility. They have the financial responsibility. But they're not dictated by Brad and Brian Carter. In fact, Brad, they cut back on the purse a little bit to help some of their partners or quote unquote tracks. Not a lot, it's just a little because the tracks asked. So they work in conjunction with. Brian Carter does the same thing. They work in conjunction with. They're not up there dictating this or dictating that all the time. I know people think that. That's not how it works. This narrative about streaming hurting attendance is crazy to me. Any races I can attend, I do. Then, thanks to Flow and Durvision, I can watch the whole season. It makes me even more excited to attend. I would make the argument you're a diehard. I look up and down Facebook every week, and there's people sitting at home. I'm in the pit area talking to teams. A crew chief and their parents don't go anymore. They stay at home and watch it. You can say it's crazy, but it's true. And I think the biggest culprit, and again, take the National Series out of it. I'm not talking about National Series events. No. Your local shows, your weekly shows. If there's a 50% chance of rain, people are staying home. A large group of people are staying home. Yes, there are people who see Port Royal. I'm not going to deny that there's people who see Port Royal, maybe people from Ohio or New York or someplace else see Port Royal and Flow, and then they go. But here's the question. How many times do they go? They'll go to the Tuscarora 50, which is a big show to begin with, but they're not going every week. They're not driving 5 hours every week. So, yeah, they'll go to the Tuscarora 50, or they'll go to the Weikert, or they'll go to Williams Grove to see the Outlaws, or they're not going weekly. You have to look at it, too, from the standpoint of, yes, they see it on streaming, and they'll go, but they're not going every week. So you didn't get a fan. You got somebody at a race that you already draw tons of people at, which there's nothing wrong with that. But where they're hurting is the weekly show. When it's a 50% chance of rain and you need a walk-up crowd, you're not getting it. Or the series races when they're $30 a pop, and I can sit at home and watch it. And if you throw in the 50% chance of rain, 40% chance of rain, it makes a difference. And there's people who have watch parties for these races. I'm thinking about starting some kind of red zone format on Saturday nights just because people stay home. I see it all the time in groups that on social media. They're not lying. So, yes, I think there's an exposure factor, but you can't measure that. I can measure how many people stay home. I can take a picture of the grandstand and measure how many people stay home. Now, don't get me wrong. I think streaming is great for national touring events. I think it has helped them tremendously. I think any kind of downside is very, very minimal for national touring racing. I'm only talking about the weekly show. And pay-per-view is totally different. But I'm not involved in pay-per-view at all anymore. I am out of the pay-per-view business. As of this week, I will not have any Speed Week shows. So now I can talk about it. How was Marks found as much speed all of a sudden? I find it hard to believe it's just the shocks. Maybe. I just think this sport is streaky right now. I think outside of gravel, Kofoid, and even, I just think outside of the really, really good teams, Reitzel and them, I think people get streaky. I think Rico's streaky. I think Rico would admit he's streaky. And when he's hot, boy, he's on fire. Fire. So I just think Marks is in a good stretch now. He was 12th last night. Field was better, admittedly. He's in the top 5 if you take out the outlaw guys. Maybe 6th. So we'll see if it continues. Shelby County's tomorrow night, and we'll all be watching. After last night's Eagle Nationals, looks like there's a huge drop-off on the high-limit roster after Rico and Reitzel. Yeah, they didn't have good nights. I don't deny that. I think it's no different than other guys not having good nights. So, I mean, I think pill draw comes into play. I think a lot of factors come in. Like Larson. Now, look, Larson wasn't fast last night. We know this. But he also pulled the worst pill you could pull. You're on the last spot of the first qualifying flight. There's no worse pill you can pull. Pulling last overall is not as bad as pulling the last pill in the first flight. Drivers in the pit area call that the FU position. That's how it's just the track starts transitioning, and the second flight's usually more even just from a speed standpoint because the track's settled in. Now, obviously, there's some outliers, but so Larson's night was going to be difficult from the start. And there was enough cars there that I think it mattered. Like if you have 24 cars, it doesn't matter. You're going one flight to begin with. So it was just a bad spot. So there's one car. I think Reitzel braking. Otherwise, he's top 5. I think he finishes second. Reitzel probably finishes second. I thought he was better than Gravel. He got by him. So, okay, there's 2 high-limit guys. Corey Day was up to 4th. He's considered, I guess, Garrett Williamson was impressive. He stood out to me as a guy where I was like, okay, which I like Garrett Williamson. And he's been performing better of late. I had something on him in the 90 at 9 this morning. So, but here's something to think about. Steve Kinzer has only won like 24% of his races. He's the best of all time. I think it's 24%. It's in there. Either way, he's lost 75% of the time. So that's the best ever. And he's lost 75% of the time. That's why people put so much emphasis on this guy got his butt. You know what? Steve Kinzer lost 75% of the time. Something to think about. Sprint car red zone would be money. It's something I'm going to talk to Eric about. So I don't know if he's laughing, smiling, or what, but I'd like to do it. Because there's just some Saturday nights. It's ordinary. And I think a red zone type of format might be good. I just got to figure out how I want to do it. Got to get some more screens too. That grin Jeremy had when he said, I'm out of streaming, so now I can talk about it. Yeah. Let's just say I wish I wasn't out of streaming because it hurts the wallet a lot. It was just, you know what? The whole thing was so strange and weird. I don't know how investors in your company can get involved in a company to hurt the company they're invested in. I don't understand that. That seems really weird to me. So it's just been a very weird 6 months. But you know what? You move on and you got to make it work. Am I crazy with the thinking that local race promoters could steal some promoting tactics from pro wrestling. Turn up the personality of the drivers, play up the rivalries between drivers, make the weekly shows budget friendly, give the big races a cool name and theme, and increase price tag. Yes and no. I think you can't. I don't think you can make it over the top, like Pat McAfee over the top. I think there's a limit to it. Do I think something? Yes, you got to have rivalries. The old Shepard Fred Raymer rivalry at Lincoln was fantastic. You had to look, Steve Kinzer, Sammy Swindell, Doug Wolfgang. The whole Big Three moniker was tremendous. And when Wolfgang was in the Weicker car and Sammy and Steve would come in, it was bedlam. I think. So you have that posse outlaws thing. Yes, I think some rivalries. Yes, I think anything out of the norm that we're seeing now is better than doing nothing. So in that regard, yes. What would Sprint Car Red Zone be like? Can you broadcast it on YouTube? Yes, it would go straight on YouTube. Yes. That would be the purpose of it. It'd be right on YouTube. I don't have a channel anymore. I don't have a pay-per-view channel. So, yes, it would be on YouTube. Where's Jet Barnes been the last couple of weeks? That's a good question. I don't know. You live in California. I'm not really sure. I don't know. Ran pretty good at Ocean, finished 6th. I thought it was a very, very respectable finish. Absolutely. I want to see more of them. I know that. With Barnes and Hillier, how are these young kids making names for themselves already? And do you see them in a national series in 5 years or less? Hillier, yes, because he's in that Rudine camp. Money's that I do see that. Jet Barnes, I don't think that Myers wants to run nationally anymore. And if he does, well, and he can't with Corey. I don't know if that's so. Somebody's going to have to pick him up. It becomes harder when you have to be picked up. Do I think he gets calls? Yeah, I think he's going to get calls. I think Jet Barnes looks really, really good. I think his racecraft for his age is really, really good. I watched a couple of his races on Flow, which, it's part of the job. And he looks good. So I think he's definitely going to get calls. I think both of them could be on a national tour in 5 years. Are there any drivers, local or national, that, in your opinion, are on the hot seat? Everybody thought about Justin Peck for a while, but all of a sudden he's 5th in points for a high limit. So that I would say that probably there's no hot seat there. I think Tanner Holmes could be at some point here if some things don't improve. I think high limit had so many changes, so I don't think. And the Outlaws, Logan Schuchart, they're in their own cars. Bill Bayog's in his own car. I don't think there's a lot of hot seat action right now. How many Outlaw teams run Lincoln for the Smith race? Logan Schuchart already confirmed. I think you could see Carson Macedo. I think you could see Buddy Kofoid. Guys like that. I think those 3 jump off the top. I think off the top of the page. I think those guys. It's going to be a great show. Brian Lepo's done a fantastic job. With all the back injuries in the sport, are they looking into better options for safety? I think that's an ongoing thing. I had Sharpley on the deep dive, which, by the way, the deep dive, I lost a couple days this week, so if I don't have a deep dive this week, don't have a conniption. I know I wanted to have one every week. I lost basically 3 days on it, so that's going to make it difficult. But I had Sharpley on, and it's an ongoing thing. I mean, there's a lot of guys behind the scenes asking questions. I have no doubt that Schlotfeld got a bunch of questions this week. Somebody called him or called the crew chief or whatever and got information. I have no doubt that happened. It seems like it's more of a gathering right now than a gathering of information, and maybe I think we'll hear something in the offseason. Any word on Marks picking up a sponsor? Saw his hood was blacked out Tuesday night. Yeah, I guess was a K&L. I think that was off the car. It was I think a 5-race deal. I think there's something possibly coming down the pike. I know there's been some calls made with a certain team that no longer exists. In fact, Brent Marks will be at Knoxville this week, by the way. Thank you to Brent for getting back to me. So, yeah, I think you could see something down the road here. So, Rayvon on Grassie's front wing in Victory Lane. Yeah, it was bright. Everything shows up on that white car, and it has an orange trim to it. It was sharp. And it was intact, unlike Santa Maria. Deep dive, Van May. It's the weekly. I know. Deep dive broke Joe on 121 drivers. I could do a deep dive with Joe for probably about 3 weeks straight. Him and Beitler. Billy Dietrich versus the field Friday night at Clinton County. Who are you taking? I'm taking Billy Dietrich. I think Ryan Smith could be there in the 10 or the 6 or whatever. I'm still taking Billy Dietrich. He's really good at Clinton County. Thank you for the work you do and coverage you provide for our sport. I don't think you get the props you deserve. Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that. I try and put out as much content as I can. Sometimes it gets dicey with some things going on. I appreciate my daughter letting me do stuff this week. I have her this week, and I'll probably have her for another week after I get back from Houston. I promised her some. I had to make her pancakes this morning. So she's a good sport about it, that I have to do stuff. So thank you. Means a lot. Biggest disappointment as far as this year, both locally and nationally. Woo! Locally. Freddie Raymer. I thought he'd win more. I thought once they got back with their team last year, the transition, fine. I expected more this year. Nationally, Schuhart and Tyler Courtney. I'd say Rico, or not Rico, Gio. I expected Gio to struggle through the first half of the season, building that team in December from scratch. I expected that. So I'd say Courtney, Logan, and then back here, Freddie Raymer. And the 69K. I thought the 69K, they really have not been that good this year. I think they have one win. I thought it'd be more by now. Or they've had some mechanical problems this year. So I think that's why they took a week off and built a car to go out west. So those 4 guys. 3 in one team. Jeremy, will gravel continue to decline and the points gap closes up more, or will he start to run away with it soon? They're going to Knoxville. He's exceptional at Knoxville. So he'll top 5 it, and I think Buddy still struggles at Knoxville. Carson's got a time. He's got a time good. He can pass cars at Knoxville, and he's good at Knoxville, but if he doesn't time well, which they've struggled at, this gap's going to be wider. And there's nothing to tell me that Gravel won't pick up points this week. So we're in this dance now where Gravel's not as good as he was last year. No doubt about that. But he's good enough and he's consistent enough, and the other guys, they'll gain and then they lose again. They gain and then they lose again. And for Buddy, let's look at Buddy for the next month. He's going to go to Knoxville. He struggles there sometimes. Okay, that's bad. Houston's will kill it, but I don't know how many of them are point races because of the format, which I hate that. If you race, other than the fields being split, which they're not at Houston, so they might be, two of them might be regular. I don't know. I hate as long as they're not split field, they should be point races. But okay, so he goes to Houston. He's not that good at Eldora. Buddy struggles at Eldora. So again, Gravel doesn't. Then Buddy will pick up a bunch somewhere in, then they go back to the Grove. Buddy's hit or miss at the Grove. Gravel's running top 5. So I think Gravel, it just goes back and forth between 120 and 70 points. I think that's what you're going to have this year. I think there's going to be weeks where it might get to 68, and then it'll be 2 weeks later, it'll be 100. I don't think it gets down into the 40s. I don't see that happening. Has anyone tore up more equipment than Cole Macedo? It's not been good. Tanner Holmes has cracked up a lot of stuff. Dason Persley's cracked up a lot of stuff. Locally in Pennsylvania, Whittall's had some wrecks. But yeah, no, Cole's had a rough year. Thoughts on Sunday's revenge draw? It was good. I wouldn't want to see it all the time because I think you can overdo something. But for a race like that, when you have that many fans in the stands, yeah, it's an added little twist, and I think that's good for people. To see the driver reactions, the interactions. I thought that was good. I just don't want to see it every week. Deep dive Gary Kaufman. Already had it. It's on YouTube. Deep dive Kathy Hughes. That would be tough to get. She doesn't do interviews very often at all. I've done one interview with her, and that was when I was at the Patriot News and Penn Live. Jeremy, deep dive with the Linder family from Ohio. That'd be good. That wouldn't be bad. That's actually a good suggestion. I can't believe nobody mentioned the Williams Grove Marathon, so I guess I will. It was unacceptable. An hour and 44 minutes off schedule. Heats were supposed to be at 7:30. They ended up being like 9:14. It was terrible. And this is, again, we talk about people in the grandstand. These instances are part of the reason this happens. You can't have it. They overwatered the track. When a baseball game's on, it's 7:05. At first pitch is 7:05. The hockey game last night, it was about 8:20. Puck drop. You're not an hour and 44 minutes late. It's unacceptable. If it rains, that's one thing. That's different. That changes it. That was unacceptable. I lost interest before heats even hit the track. I can't imagine what it was like sitting and I was walking around talking to people. I can only imagine what it was like sitting on a board up in the stands. I just don't. I saw people leaving. I know that, and that's never good before the feature. Can't have it. So much talk every year about the Grove not being what it was, or people saying how bad it is. What do you think it would take for the Grove to start changing the public's mind? I don't know. They have a PR problem. That's for sure. Well, I know this, not starting their heat races an hour and 44 minutes late like last week. The other thing is, too, and I do think the Grove is unfairly judged a lot. I think if one thing happens at the Grove, it's like 5 things happening somewhere else. I think the leash is shorter at the Grove in the court of public opinion than it is other places. Some of that is earned. I just think they need to shake things up. I think they need to. I think they need to get creative with their shows. I think they need to do some promotional stuff. I think they need to go to Jubilee Day, which has 90,000 people roll through there, and they're not there. And it's 3 miles down the road. Stuff like that. I think they need. I just think there's some things they need to do differently. They just need to be more active, and they got to switch some stuff up. I like going to the Grove. I don't have a major problem with them. I don't like the hour and 44 minutes late, but that's an oddity too. They normally don't do that. That's not something that's weekly there. Starting late is not a problem weekly there. It was just last week, and it's not good on top of other things. So I just think it's a PR problem, and you gotta figure it out. Have you ever done a deep dive with Keith Kaufman, one of the all-time favorites, great guy and racer? I have not done a Keith Kaufman one yet. SprintCarUnlimited Red Zone could push the storylines and rivalries. It'd be good. I just logistically, I got to figure it out. I also got to get more screens because if I can't watch the different events, it's pointless. But we got to do it that we give updates and we have graphics and we got this, and we got that. That puts a lot of strain on Eric. And, it's something him and I will have to sit down and talk about, see if we can lay it out. And then what I'd like to do is when we do it, if I'm at Eldora, we need to do it from Eldora too. Like I'm on site. Now that's a little easier because I can do some content beforehand and ship it to him where he can load it. But I would love to do it. I think nobody else is doing it, and I'd love to do it. Eric, have we surpassed the longest live show? Oh, crap. Yes, we pretty much did. I think this is a record. All right. Do we have any other questions? Eric's making the call. PA Posse Series needs to do pill draw, invert after time trials like the King's Royal. I think it's something that would be something that maybe draws fans a little bit. I can't disagree with that. How do the mid-runners with High Limit and Woo do it financially? Well, some of the mid guys with High Limit have charters, so they get paid a good amount of money with the franchise thing. And then on top of that, they got to do it with tow money with the Outlaws. And then you got to pick your spots when there's 24 cars, you got to make the most of it. I don't know how they do it financially either, though. Grove did start going to Jubilee Day in 2024. It was an idea suggested by Scott Speidel. It was a great idea. Should have been doing it for years. Should have been doing it for years. I don't know why that's an idea. It's 90,000 people walking through basically your neighborhood. I don't get it. I don't think that's I'm sorry, I just don't get it. To me, that's called a no-brainer. Does Danny Dietrich have what it takes to run a national series, assuming he had a good car? Well, I think he has a good car. I just don't think that's what they want to do. He runs a business. They have that Racers Used Parts warehouse. Is Skylar G performing better than Scotty Thiel? No, it's about the same. Late model broadcasts seem to be big into mentioning motor chassis combos for everybody, but you rarely hear that in sprint car racing outside of victory lane interviews. Any reason for that? Yeah, that's a good point. No, I don't know what the reason is for that. I don't know if it's just something they don't focus on. That'd be a good question for Chase Rodman if he's in here now or next week. Which next week's show will be Monday because I leave for Huset's on Tuesday. So I'll be in the air. But yeah, I don't know why that is. That's a good point. Also, pretty awesome. You guys have 1/3 or so of the viewers as a live free race on Flow. Impressive stuff, Jeremy. Don't know what that means. Also, pretty awesome. You guys have 1/3 or so of the viewers as a live free race on Impressives. We do? I don't know. That's an Eric question. I mean, if we do, that's great. I'll take it. We're low this week. Normally we get to close to 400, but moving days is tough. Moving days is tough. All right, that's a wrap for the night. Thanks to everyone for joining the Marathon Wednesday night broadcast. As Eric put it, it's all right. That's fine. I'm going to go watch a movie with my daughter and work on the 90 at 9 or attempt to. Again, thank you, everybody who joined the show. Next week's show will be on Monday night. So stay tuned. Thank you.